Yes. Good afternoon, my imagination connoisseurs. Is I, the notorious RMB, sitting here on a Sunday afternoon. I got Gilbert here, and I thought, I was going to do the letter G today, my favorite movies beginning with the letter G, but something happened. As Dave Bowman in 2010 might say, something wonderful has happened. It's happening now. It's in my house happening now, and so this is something that when I first started dating my girlfriend Elizabeth, it happened once before. It comes like a comet or an eclipse, and what it is it's a clothes exchange. It's something as a guy that I was never able to participate in. I really didn't know much about it at all, and so the premise is a bunch of girls come over, women, I should say, come over to a domicile. In our case today, it's our domicile, our house here, and they bring clothes that they're tired of, or they want to get rid of, or they want to exchange, and they come together and they bring lots of food and fellowship and stories to tell, and they decide to exchange their clothes with one another. So they get rid of the clothes they don't like or they're tired of, and they get to avail themselves of their friends' clothes. Now, this is something as a guy, I have to say, and I'm always open to new experiences. This is something that I've never participated in. Yeah, it's a little crazy. So, somebody says that my mic might not be doing what it's supposed to be doing. That I let me just look and make sure that you're getting out. You guys should be getting the right input. Are you getting the right input? I hope so. But anyway, so what's going on is these girls are here, women, and they're exchanging. Everyone says the sound is low. Hang on. Hello. Mic level is low. There we go. Let's see. How's that? Is that better? Can you guys hear me? Is low audio still? Wow, that's weird. Um, Hold on a minute. Let's change it up. And how about now? Is that better? Do you hear me better? A bit better? Is that better? Sounds echoey. Well, how about now? No, it's not better. It's a little low. It's a little low. How can it be low, people? It hasn't changed. I haven't changed my microphone settings at all. Maybe you're on the computer's mic. I'm not. The plug is it. Yes, isn't it? Hey, guys, hear that? Hello. Anyway, tap the mic. Yo, that's very Beastie Boys. Nope, not better. Wait. Okay. Let's see. Display audio. Is it changing? Input volume. Hey, how is that? Is that better? Do you hear me? Didn't hear the tap. Do you hear me? Oh, this is bad. Technical difficulties. Somebody come back at me. Can you hear me all right? Nope. Didn't hear the tap. No tap still. That's not good. Nothing's changed. Damn it. Hang on. Let's see what's going on. It's because there's girls here. Let's see. Yes. Finally caught a live feed. Technology is weird. Hopefully you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? I don't know. Yeah, blame the women. No, it's because I'm blaming myself. It's the women here. They got me all at Twitter, as it were. Okay, so here we go. Anyway, here it is. Is John really doing another live chat now? So anyway, I'm just gonna go on. I'm just gonna go on and go where I'm coming from. So today they're doing the. I'm hoping you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? I'm hoping you can hear me. But so what is happening here is they're having this clothes exchange, and they exchange clothes. Now this is something guys never do. Like, at least I don't know any that do. I have exchanged action figures with people, and sometimes I've had plastic model building parties. But today you can hear them in the background. I have a bunch of women in this house, multi-generations of women. I've got women in their 40s. Shh, don't tell anyone. I've got women in their 30s, and I've got high school girls, high school senior girls. So what I decided to do is ask them. I figured as a documentarian and somebody who's interested in finding out where the next generation is coming from, because everyone's like, you don't like Discovery because you're old and don't believe in anything. Well, that might be true. But so what I thought I would do today on this episode of ROBSERVATIONS is bring in a bunch of new voices, people we've never heard from before, some people that have never been on YouTube before, and I would ask them questions about things they like and find out what does the younger generation and perhaps the older generation or my generation of girls think about science fiction, fantasy, and horror, or comic book films or music. What do they like? And I could do this. Eddie from Space says, don't. And I could ask them if they want. And I figured that would be sort of an interesting Sunday afternoon ROBSERVATIONS live chat. And think of this as a way to find out what people are into. There are no wrong answers. You know, this is not to make fun of anybody. This is an anthropological deep dive into what young people today might think of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask. I won't yell into the. Hey, anyone who would like to be the first? Which one of you would like to join me? I'm asking, and I'm putting that out. So I'm hoping that we're going to get. You'll go first? Ah, well, okay, come in here. So I've got my first taker. So this is going to be interesting. Okay, so all you have to do is sit here, put these on. They're a little warm, and you put them on your ears yourself. There's Gilbert. So and just look at the camera there, and just stare at the camera. Don't look at anything else. So first of all, introduce yourself to the people out there.
My name is Lauren Ramirez.
Lauren Ramirez, and how old are you? Can you say that?
I'm 17.
You're 17, and are you in school now?
Yes, I'm do school and
talk
forth.
That way.
Back and forth from PCC and high school.
High school. So let me ask you, what are you a fan? Are you a fan of science fiction, fantasy, and horror?
Very much. I grew up with 4 brothers in the house. So
4 brothers in the house. So wait, did your brothers introduce you? By the way, don't look at me. Just look at the camera. Did your brothers introduce you to that, or was it something you found on your own?
It was something I found on my own and my brothers. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing that you can remember horror-wise that you liked? What were you a fan of first?
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, the video game.
Yeah.
Now, did you play the first Silent Hill? How did you?
I watched.
Gilbert likes the ladies. I just want to point that out.
I watched the movies first, and
right.
then
okay.
I was terrified, but the actual horror game that I first played was Dead Space, and that was the first one.
Wow. Now, did you ever come and then play the Silent Hill video game after you saw the movies?
I played the PT that was supposed to come out, but it never came out with the actual full game.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Now, what did you like about Dead Space? What made you a fan of that game?
It was really suspenseful, and you didn't all the jump scares, and it had a good story. So I think just the whole how they set everything up to make it like a thriller.
Right. Now, as a result of that, did it make you look for other horror things, like other games or books or movies?
Movies mostly. I like reading murder podcasts.
Murder, like real murder podcasts.
Yeah.
So, have you listened to the new Ted Bundy show on Netflix?
She's listened to it, but I haven't. Mostly just other murder stuff, and at first there's one on Netflix called Murder Cases, I believe. I don't know the full name, but they're documentaries, and they're really interesting. But horror wise, I love horror movies. I'm not easily a scary person.
Right.
It's fine.
Now, do you have favorite horror films? If you were stuck on a desert island and you happen to get washed up with a home entertainment system, and your 10 you didn't have streaming, so you'd have to have physical media. So you had your 10 favorite movies. What would some of those 10 favorite horror movies be? No wrong answers.
I like Hereditary. Some people don't consider it a horror.
Oh, it is.
Movie.
It's great.
Hereditary, The Exorcist, the really old one.
Really old one.
It's not that scary, but back then it was terrifying.
Terrifying.
The Shining's really good.
You have good taste.
Yeah. Shining. What else? I've seen a lot. I just don't remember their names. Um, that's all I can say right now.
So The Shining. So you're old school. I mean, Hereditary is 2018, but The Shining is 1980, and The Exorcist is 74. So you don't discriminate in terms of like you won't. If you, what do you think about like watching an older movie? Will you watch an older film? Like Exorcist is old, Shining is older.
I've watched lots of old films from like Judy Garland and all those other really old actors like James Dean, Marlon Brando. I feel like if that's kind of where it's like the golden star of Hollywood, so that people should give it a chance. And if you don't really like it because it's black and white, then try to find something that's kind of like that style.
Wow, you're giving me hope for the future right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like me who like old school films. So.
Well, do you have friends that don't? Are there people that you go to school with that won't watch old movies, or do you?
No, my friends. I have a pretty good selective amount of friends who are really open minded to listening to different things.
Now, what about reading? Do you read any horror novels, or do you read any like? Did you read The Hunger Games? Or
I tried and I couldn't because I was like, this is too much. it was too cheesy for me. I was like, okay.
Right. Now, are there other movies besides horror? What are some of your other favorite movies that are non-horror? Maybe science. Do you like science fiction? Do you like comic book movies? Do you like the Marvel?
Oh yeah, I really like X-Men. The X-Men movies are really good, and there's gonna be the New Mutants that they're gonna come out with, so I'm excited for that. I mostly grew up with watching DC more than Marvel, and
wow, okay,
yeah. So I think DC, like their animation, the cartoons are way better to me than Marvel in terms of their cartoons.
Now, what did you grow up watching as far as the DC cartoons are concerned?
Batman, Justice League, Young Justice, what else? Teen Titans.
Right. Did you see Teen Titans go to the movies that came out?
No.
I haven't either, and I'm a big Titans fan.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
No. Now, what do you think? What is your? Do you watch the CW DC shows like Green Arrow and the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow?
I tried watching the Flash, but I think it was just like the whole effects term. It was just I wasn't
right. You weren't feeling it.
Yeah, like, and that whole acting now was like not
nice. Now, did you see Aquaman?
I haven't seen it yet. My whole family saw it, but I haven't seen it, and I really want to see it. I haven't had time.
Nice. So, what is there something coming out that you're looking forward to? We've got a new Spider-Man movie. There's of course the next Avengers movie. You've got Wonder Woman 84 coming out. What are you looking most forward to?
I think mostly New Mutants.
Right. Okay.
And the new Marvel, the Avengers movie.
Right. Endgame.
Yeah, and I think I'm not as into movies as I used to be.
How come?
Just because I feel like sometimes if it's not a good movie, I'm wasting my time.
Wow. Okay.
And it's hard to find actual like good movies that have an impact on you.
Right.
I think the last movie that I actually really fully had to like sit down and watch was Roma.
And what did you think of that?
I think it's such a beautiful movie in terms of like the culture and having indigenous people like actually play indigenous roles and the story. So it was really it's nominated for an Oscar, which is really good. And I really hope it wins.
And the first indigenous person nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah, so it was really impactful for.
Now, is that important to you, the representation of indigenous people?
Yeah, I think the representation of all cultures is really important, and having like, what I don't like is a lot of anime adaptation movies are coming to like America on the big screen, and they're not incorporating the actual like ethnicity that should be played or portrayed, like Ghost in the Shell. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson is not Asian, so she should not be playing an Asian role.
Sure. Now, how do you feel about Alita Battle Angel?
That one, I haven't actually I've never read the manga or anything like that, so I don't really have anything to say much about it. It looks good, but I'm not sure, in my opinion, for it. I don't know anything much about it.
Now, let me ask you this, and there's, again, no wrong answers. At your age right now, are you optimistic about the future? And what do you see for yourself going forward in your life, what would you like to do if you could accomplish? I know these are big questions, but if you could accomplish anything, or where do you see yourself in 10 years? And are you optimistic about that future?
Yes, I am very, very open-minded on what I want to do in the future, and I want to go to college. I want to get education and be able to learn. One of the things is I want to learn more and more. Even as I'm like 4 years old, I still want to learn. So in the future, what I want to do is I want to mostly travel and kind of be open-minded on people's different lifestyles and their culture and what they do. So
if you could go anywhere, where's the first place you want to travel to?
either Korea or Panama, which is where my mom's from.
Wow. Now, why Korea?
Because first of all, I'm really into fashion. That's why I'm here today, and I'm hanging out with them, my friends. They have right now their whole industry is booming in terms of their entertainment and their fashion, and a lot of Koreans are getting more recognized. The whole K-pop thing is like really big.
Do you have a favorite K-pop band?
Yeah, I do.
And what is that band?
BTS, GOT7, and I like the girl groups.
Right.
Twice. They're I like the basic ones. I like every K-pop American American fan listens to.
That's awesome. So when BTS was making the rounds of American talk shows over the last couple months, did you see them?
I actually did see them because my little sister is a really, really big fan of K-pop and BTS, so I offered to just take her. And it was really cool. They're really talented. I don't like how they can get really overstressed because it's not fair for people. They're so young and they're like fainting on stage, and it's just not healthy.
Right.
But in terms of like them actually performing, it was probably one of the best dance performances I've seen like live, and it was really cool.
That's amazing. So, do you follow politics at all?
No.
No.
I am not. I try to avoid politics.
That's okay.
It's just like no one does anything right, and when they do something right, it just doesn't end well, or
right.
No one likes it. So it's like no matter what, no one's gonna like what you're doing, even if it's good for society. They're always gonna try to complain. And it's hard to figure out what's good because there's always like a debatable thing going on in politics.
Right. Well, this is great. Listen, I want to thank you for allowing me to probe your mind here on this Sunday afternoon. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming on. You're the first guest I've had on my ROBSERVATIONS live chat. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for your articulate and thoughtful answers. Now, I'm going to see if I can get, is there anyone else who wants to come on? Okay, who's me? Come on, you're up next. Okay, come on in. So thank you very much. Let's give her a hand, everyone. Give her a hand. Come on. All right. So all you have to do is put this on, and just put this on, and Gilbert will probably jump all over you. So put that on how you want to put it on, and then just what you have to do is just look into the camera right there, and just keep looking in the camera, and don't look at me when I ask you questions, and you just have to talk. So first of all, introduce yourself to people here.
Hello, I'm Margo. I'm a high school student and I'm 17 years old.
17 years old. Well, Margo, let me ask you, are you a fan of science fiction, fantasy, and horror, whether it's movies or whether it's literature or whatever it is? I mean, are you a fan of genre entertainment like that?
I am indeed. Yes.
Indeed. No, don't look at me. Look at them because they want to know.
Sorry.
So no, there's no wrong answers. So what are some of your favorite? If someone were to say to you, I asked this question, if you were stranded on a desert island and you had your 10 favorite movies, what would they be? No wrong answers.
10 favorite what?
Movies.
Movie
or TV shows.
Okay.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but there's no wrong answers.
I'm a fan of the movie Her.
Her, you mean with Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes.
One of my favorite science fiction films of all time. Okay.
I love that film. Yes.
Okay, why do you love that? That is such a great choice.
Yes.
Now, why? Tell them why you love that movie.
I love that movie because it's just something you wouldn't expect. It's a lot of it's a movie that a lot of people don't like because of how out of the box it is and how what's a better word than weird? It's like
Offbeat.
offbeat, very offbeat than what you see in a regular film. It's something that really makes you feel. It's something that makes you want to cry and laugh at the same time. It breaks your heart but makes you happy at the same time. It's everything I've ever loved in a film, and it it, it really makes. I watch it so often to the point
Wow.
that it doesn't make me feel as connected as I did when I first saw it. But wow, I love that movie. It's a good movie.
What a great choice. Now I have to ask you, what's another one? I mean, I'm taken aback. I'm getting all weepy eyed.
I like the movie 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, another great film directed by Mark Webb, who went on to direct Spider-Man, or The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Why do you love 500 Days of Summer?
I love that movie just because of the fact that it's a love story that's not a love story.
Right.
It's everything I don't like romance films.
How come?
But I do at the same time. I love
Okay.
I love movies that make me feel but not make me fall in love. You feel?
Mm-hmm.
I like movies that make me feel connected with the character rather than the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, why did 500 Days of Summer make you feel that way?
Just because it started out so depressing, and it started out he lost everything. He was obsessed with this girl, and then she didn't even want him in the first place. And then they show it backwards, and they show like how it happened, and they go backwards, and yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
No, but that was great. That was good. So love and loss and regret and all of those
Yes.
and all of those things. So now let me ask you this. So you said you watch her all the time and you like 500 Days of Summer. Is it unusual for you to watch movies over and over and over again?
No, I watch movies over and over again on purpose. Just because I like watching movies over and over again because I kind of study them to get connected with it more.
Wow. So that's 2 movies. Give me another one. I mean, I'm very curious now. And again, there's no wrong answers. I know, putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
But your analysis is great. So I'd love to know, what about an older movie?
An older movie?
Yeah, is there some classic film that you've seen, or maybe somebody showed you something older? Again, no wrong answers.
See, the problem with me is that I don't ever know the name of the movie because I always like focus on the script rather than the movie.
Sure.
So I don't know the name of the movie, but I can say like a term from that movie that I love that's not sci-fi, horror, or any of that.
Throw it out.
It's Say Hello to My Little Friend, like that movie. I love that movie.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Say hello to, that's Scarface.
That's Scarface. There we go. See,
yeah.
I always forget.
So okay, you love now Scarface, 1983,
yes.
Directed by Brian De Palma, starring Al Pacino. Obviously, why do you love Stephen Bauer, Michelle Pfeiffer? Tell us why you like Scarface.
It's so raw. It's so real. This man comes from another country and he's trying to find. See, it's so hard to explain movies because I just. Yes, it is. It's
no. Go with it. This is great. So you're talking about the immigrant experience.
Yes.
And he wants the world because in the movie he's like, the world is yours is a big thing. Now, how do you feel like? Okay, so obviously immigration is a big part of what's going on in this country right now.
Yes.
It's a big conversation, and Scarface details the Cuban migration from in the early 80s to America, and Castro threw out a lot of people in his prisons and a lot of. How do you feel about how does Scarface relate perhaps to what's going on in our country today? Do you feel it does?
Oh, of course, definitely. The immigration thing, how they don't want people to come into the country to steal our jobs.
How do you feel about that?
Our jobs are their jobs. Their jobs are our jobs. We share. What is ours? what's ours is theirs. What's theirs is ours. We can share. What's the problem? I don't understand. Them coming to this country doesn't bother me at all because, well, what's the problem?
Rough.
I don't see a problem in it.
Well, when Tony Montana might have, he was a bit of a problem.
He was a bit of a problem. Yeah, drugs, obviously.
Selling the yayo,
Yeah, of course. And
Gilbert always he's always here. But so you like Scarface. That's quite of an out of the box choice.
it is.
So we've got her, we've got 500 Days of Summer, and we have Scarface. That's a very eclectic. That's an eclectic triptych of movies. So give me another one. Even if you only remember the line of dialogue. No wrong answers.
No Country for Old Men.
Oh, great film. The Coen Brothers.
I love it.
Academy Award-winning film.
Yeah.
Now, what do you love about that movie?
I love how it ends so horribly.
Now, why do you like that?
Because it makes me love it more. He's so good at killing people that it's so good. It's like, wow. I love I'm really bad at explaining why I love things. I just realized that.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to be good. You're not being judged.
Yeah.
You've already picked some great choices. So, why? Now, let me ask you something. Do you think that movies matter anymore? Do movies? I mean, when I grew up, movies meant everything to me. But now you've got video games. You've got YouTube channels. Do you think that movies still mean something to you? Do they mean as much to you as, say, your favorite YouTube personality or your favorite video game? What kind of entertainment has the deepest impact upon you now?
Films, of course.
Really?
Films.
And why is that? Why do you think? I mean, so many of I say your generation. I don't want to pigeonhole you.
It makes you feel, because not a lot of things make you feel anymore, unless it's falling in love with someone or going out or looking at the trees. Film is a form of feeling something. It's a form of art. It's a form of love. Film is love. Film is a form of love.
Okay.
It really is.
Now, do you think that all your friends feel the same way that you do?
No, I'm a very emotional person. That's just how I feel. I go in depth with things. I kind of think too much. I overthink. So I tend to go deeper into something that isn't deep at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I am with films. So even like a film that's like not even that deep, I go deeper into it to see if there was a deeper meaning into it. I love meaningful movies. I love movies that teach you something. I love movies that make you any movie, in my opinion, makes you feel something.
Do you think you started watching movies because of your parents or your brothers and sisters, or how did you first get into watching movies?
I first got into watching movies because as a kid I wanted to act. I would go to like auditions and things, and I would watch movies as a kid to mimic actors and actresses and to better myself as an actress.
Wow, okay.
As a kid. And although that worked for a while, I stopped focusing on that and I actually started watching movies. And
well, what did you like? Like you said, movies make you feel.
Yeah.
When you started watching films, what were some of the things that you felt? Did you feel sadness? Did you feel regret? Did you feel love? Did you feel joy?
yes, I felt all of it. I felt love. I felt joy. I felt happiness. I love movies that make me sad. I love those movies because it. Man, it's so hard explaining.
I know, but you're doing a great job.
Am I really?
You are doing a great job. You're doing, and look, I put you on the spot. I just thought this would be an interesting thing to do, and I am blown away by the two of you and what you've said. So thank you. Thank you for this. Well, look, I won't put you on the spot anymore. I'll get somebody else to take the hot seat.
Okay.
So
No problem.
let me. Yeah, well, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank
It was
you.
amazing. And thank everybody. Thank her for her participation.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. And I'll wait for. You have to send one of your compatriots now.
Yes. Compatriots, come.
Here, I'll take the headphones. Go get me somebody. Go get me another person.
Okay. Who's next?
Okay, so you guys, I find this absolutely fascinating because, you know, I don't have children myself, so to be able to have conversations like this and hear, you know, I'm always railing about the youth of America, but I think the two women we've just seen, how amazing were their insights and opinions. I mean, it's incredible. I can't expect the world at large to know anything about or as much about what because I've spent a lifetime deep diving into this stuff. But what's really interesting to me is the public at large, people at large. What do they think about all this stuff that we talk about and we converse about? And so I figured, you know, why not avail myself of this opportunity? And I thank them for being open and honest and willing to go on YouTube and talk this way. And Gilbert seems to enjoy the ladies, so that's good. Hope I can get somebody else. Is there anybody else who's gonna come here? Oh, are you down or what? All right, come on. I got someone else.
I was just talking to Sophie about my ex-boyfriend's dad who.
Wait. Talk about it on camera. Hang on. Put that on. Okay, now so just look here, look there, and don't look at me.
Okay.
And you can pet Gilbert because everyone loves Gilbert. So first of all, now look there.
Okay.
Now first of all, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kaya.
And you never are supposed to ask a woman her age, but I'm gonna ask you, how old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17 and you're in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you, are you a fan of movies, television, pop culture? Don't look at me, look at the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
YouTube stars, like what is your favorite entertainment?
Probably movies.
Movies. So do you have, like, again, I asked the question, if you were stuck on a desert island and you had, I know physical media is fuddy-duddy, old people, 20th century, but if you had your 10 favorite movies that washed up on this beach with you, what would some of those be? No wrong answers.
Okay, probably The Hills Have Eyes.
Wow, okay, The Hills Have Eyes, the new one or the
old one?
The old one.
The old one.
From the 70s.
Yes, from the 70s.
Okay, first of all, let me stop you right there. And first of all, Hills Have Eyes from the 70s. Let's give a golf clap right there. Now tell us, why do you love The Hills Have Eyes? Wes Craven, the man who directed Nightmare on Elm Street, directed that?
I love Wes Craven. I love his past work, especially in Nightmare on Elm Street. It scared me as a kid.
But The Hills Have Eyes is pretty rough.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty rough, but then, like, looking back on it, like, especially some of the effects that they used, even though they were quite cheesy, I was just like, this is such a masterpiece for its time. Like, oh, this is all so good.
But it's pretty brutal.
It's very brutal, but I love that. I love how, like, it felt so real. I was like, this is amazing.
Wow. Gilbert approves of that. Gilbert's a lady killer. Doesn't he love the ladies? He knows. Gilbert knows. So, okay, so you know, if he wants to stay here, he can stay there. If it's okay with you. So Hills Have Eyes, that's a great choice. And Nightmare on Elm Street. So give me a few more. What are?
Uh-oh. I don't tap on the mic.
Can you still hear?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
So give me another. What's another movie?
American Psycho.
American Psycho. Wow, you were going hardcore.
Yeah, I grew up with a lot of horror in my life because of my dad. When I was 10.
Hopefully not because of him. He just showed you a lot of horror.
Yeah, no. He was like a big influence on it. He was the one that was like, okay, you're gonna watch The Exorcist. You're gonna watch all of this, and I'm like, okay.
And how did you feel about that?
I loved it all. I thought it was amazing. I was like, my mother was not very happy about it when she saw that I was watching Kill Bill when I was about like 6. Yeah.
You were watching Kill Bill when you were 6?
Yeah.
No wonder your mom was pissed.
Well, no, I walked in on it. I just had like my happy meal, and I was just sitting down, and it's like the very intense scene where it's like all beautifully, like the comic side of it, where they're explaining Oren Ishii's backstory, and I'm just like, oh, I just see this little girl underneath the bed, and I'm just like, eating it, and I just hear like screams behind me. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna eat this. It'll be cool.
Wow.
And just like, yeah.
Now, did your dad talk to you about these things? Did he explain what they were? Did he give you a little background? Did he just show it to you?
He gave me background on it. He would like explain to me the context of the story and like what was gonna happen, and like he would pass forward like scenes that he thought weren't okay for me at the time, like sex scenes. Like, that was the big thing. It's like, oh, gotta skip through the sex scene. Don't do this. Don't do that.
But you could watch all the killing that was, no sex, but you can watch all the people die.
Yeah, there's like certain parts where you'd be like, okay, you gotta cover your eyes. That's not okay. I was like, oh, okay, that's what you say. So.
And how'd your mom feel about that?
Oh, she hated it. That's probably one of the main reasons why they got a divorce. There was like other reasons too, but that was like one of the ones where she's like, no. Like big time. She's always just like, what the hell? Like watching Jackass and like, all that stuff.
So what are some, okay, so you love horror. Are there other genres of movies you like? Do you like science fiction? Do you like comic book movies?
I love science fiction. Like, especially like a big comic book movie would have to be Watchmen. That was amazing. That
Wow.
was one of my favorites, yeah.
Have you read the comic, the Alan Moore comic?
I have not because I wasn't given a chance to get a hold of it at the time, but my best friend last year for her birthday got that, like the big thick comic for her birthday, so I'm like, I'll have to steal that from her.
Wait a minute, you have a friend that got the Watchmen comic for her birthday?
Yes.
Okay, someone like myself who is completely dismissive of your generation, someone's giving a friend of yours the Watchmen comic book gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah, it's great.
So she got it for what birthday was that?
It was her 16th birthday.
She got the Watchmen for her 16th birthday.
Yeah, because her brother and her mom were like the big influences for her because she has an older brother, so he always was really into Watchmen, and I at the time was not able to watch it, so I had to wait a while till it was okay. Same with Pulp Fiction.
What did you like about Watchmen? What are some of the things that struck you about it?
I liked the characters. I liked how it was a bit darker, and I liked how they had very different like backstories towards it. Like you could tell Rorschach was like very messed up, and then like you understood like, oh, okay, that's why. Okay, and like
right.
Like why Silver Spectrum, like your mom was so different, but if you see from the daughter's perspective, you can understand why she acts so differently than her mom, because it's like her mom was kind of seen as like this horror-ish kind of way, so she's like, I don't want to be like that, but then she does some things that are like questionable, and you're like, okay.
No, that's great. So now let me ask you this. Do you think that have you learned from Watchmen? Did it help you grow as a person? Is it something you reflect upon? And do you think other people can learn from that?
I think it's a great, I don't know if it's like a learning type of thing that you can
right.
learn from, because it's like, oh, all this like sad and darkness, but the soundtrack, I think you can definitely learn from the soundtrack, like, oh, this is all really great music that you definitely should listen to. But if you could get back further, then you should just watch The Graduate, because most of the songs in The Graduate are in Watchmen.
Okay, whoa. Back right up. The Graduate. I was going through my list of G movies, my favorite films. The Graduate's on there. Tell us about The Graduate. What do you know about The Graduate?
I love everything about The Graduate. The characters, the story, the ending. The ending is my favorite here. Especially when like he's just like up there and he's like, no! Just screaming at the altar. I'm just like,
now this is amazing for people that don't know what The Graduate is. It was directed by Mike Nichols. It's a late '60s film. It was Dustin Hoffman's breakthrough. Tell us about The Graduate in your eyes. Tell us about the whole thing.
Okay, so basically the story is about this man that comes home from college, and he's like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know. And his parents are very proud of him, and they're throwing him this big party, and all he wants to do is stay up in his room. And this woman walks in, Mrs. Robinson, and he's like, oh, hi, Mrs. Robinson. And she's like, hello, do you have a cigarette? And he's like, I don't smoke. And then she's like, oh, do you have an ashtray? I don't smoke. And he's like, oh, okay. And then one thing leads to another. Like, she's like, oh, or her husband actually is like, oh, you know, shooting my daughter. She's fine. He's like, you would make a great couple. And Mrs. Robinson is like, oh, I don't know about that. And he ends up falling for Mrs. Robinson. He's like, oh, or she's like, the famous scene is, oh, Mrs. Robinson is trying to seduce me. And she's like, only if you want me to. And they end up starting an affair, which leads to them meeting at this hotel. And then when her daughter comes back home from college, finally, her dad is like, oh, you know, she's back now. Now's your chance. Go on, make your move. And Mr. Robinson is like, do not do this. I told you how sensitive I'm about this. Like, she has something very against the fact that her lover is trying to go after her daughter, which I understand. She's like, this is my property. You're not going after her. Like, this is my family, and I'm not trying to bring in my secret love life in with my family. And so he ends up going on a date with her. She gets really upset about it, and a lot of controversy happens. She doesn't see Mrs. Robinson for a while, and then Mrs. Robinson is like, oh, well, I'm done with you, whatever.
and her daughter ends up finding another man and leaves. I forgot his name.
Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin. She ends up leaving Benjamin, and not at the altar, but he asks her to marry him, and she just keeps saying no. She's like, no, 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 no. So he just drives and just drives and drives and drives. Beautiful shots of just driving this beautiful car until he finally finds her at the altar in like some random state or whatever. So then he goes there, and he's like, okay, gotta find a way in, and he knows that like his mother or her mother would be so displeased if she found out that he was there because he wants to crash the wedding. And so then he ends up crashing the wedding. It's really romantic, and she like sees him up top. There's like this big ass altar, and there's like this beautiful glass window, and he's just like screaming at her like, come on. And so then she ends up turning around, she's like, oh my gosh. And then they run out of there, catch a bus, and it's a school bus, I believe. It was a school bus, so they go all the way in the back of the school bus. And they just sit there, and that's how it ends. It's just like
Okay, well, first of all, it's a classic film.
Yeah.
How did you first see The Graduate? Did your dad show that to you?
No, actually, my best friend did, because she was like, "Oh, you."
So your best friend, she already loved the movie.
Yes, my best friend and my dad were like big influences on me in movies genre-wise. My dad was more of like the gore and horror type, and my friend was like, "Oh, you gotta see like Pulp Fiction, you gotta see Graduate, you gotta see this, you gotta see that," and I was like.
So is your friend your same age?
Yes, she is.
And she'd seen The Graduate.
Yeah.
So you guys, you ladies, you women, you people, you're watching classic cinema.
Oh yes, I love classic cinema. I mean, to be fair, I didn't learn about like Pink Floyd till I was a sophomore in high school, thanks to my ex-boyfriend, because he was a big influence on that partake. But yeah, I didn't know about that and then after I had like done all that and everything, and he was just like, "You never heard about Pink Floyd?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna burn you a CD." And I was like, please don't. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't have any CDs to burn." I was like, "Okay, cool."
He didn't just make you a Spotify playlist?
No, he was just like, "I have these CDs in my dad's car," and it was only The Wall. That's the only CD he had. It was The Wall, and so that's all we listened to. And for a while, that's all I ever knew was just The Wall until we broke up, and I had to stop listening to Pink Floyd for a while.
Now, have you seen the movie?
I have not, but my dad has. He said, "You should watch it while you're on acid. It's the best." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, you gotta do that." And I'm like, "All right."
So your dad wants you to watch Pink Floyd The Wall on acid.
Yes.
By the way, directed by Alan Parker. Came out in what, 82, I think?
Yeah, I believe so.
I actually have it, but I don't have any acid. And nor would I condone that.
I was like, I can get you some. Okay.
So that's interesting. So Pink Floyd, you now what other things, like, do you like video games?
I love to play. Oh, this is kind of cheesy. I love to play Mortal Kombat. And
It's not cheesy. Half the audience is clapping right now.
But I used to play this. I forgot the name of it. But when I was like a little teen, I used to play this video game. It had to do with like, it looked like the Geico lizard, but it was like his family was captured by this fly, and you had to go through this yard or like this graveyard type of thing and defeat everybody or whatever, the dead that was coming up, to go save your family. I never finished the game. I don't remember finishing the game, but I remember it was really fun, and I forgot the name of it, but it was so fun. It was all like pixelated too, so it was very like.
So of all the entertainment out there, obviously you like classic films, you like classic rock.
Yes.
What would you say, as far as entertainment is concerned, what most influences you? Are you more into movies? Are you more into streaming YouTube shows? Do you like YouTube? Do you like video games? What is the thing you return to? Books? What do you like the most?
I love DVDs the most. I know people are like, "Oh, Netflix, Hulu, ooh." And I'm like, I get that. I love that. But I prefer like the good old hard DVD because it's always reliable. He just said it's Gex the Gecko. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, DVDs will always be something I will come back to because it's just straight to the point, and I know like specifically which ones I have because I've always gotten the ones that I just favor the most.
So you're a fan of a big debate I have with my friends is physical media as opposed to streaming. So can I put you in the physical media camp?
Yeah, you can.
So I can say a young person who's in high school comes out in favor of physical media. By God, that's what I love to hear.
I love physical media. I have so many DVDs. I look like a hoarder in my room. Netflix on like this little.
Okay, so what are your? So do you watch the special features?
I do watch the special features sometimes if I have the DVD remote, because right now I don't. I don't know where it is. It's lost in my room. It's a mess.
So what are some of your favorite DVDs that you own?
I own a lot. I think Requiem for a Dream, Train Spotting. I own Reservoir Dogs on DVD.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this: Train Spotting, Reservoir Dogs, Requiem for a Dream. So all these nice romantic films.
That's why I don't have a boyfriend, because my mother even says, she's like, why do you have all these movies? They're so nasty. They're so like disturbing. I'm like, oh, that's what I like. I love the realist type of thing that you can get.
Well, that's fantastic. And on that note, I know I've kept you here for a long time, but I want to thank you. This has been incredible insight. You have incredible taste in film, by the way. Movies you shouldn't be watching, but I love the fact that you are. So that's fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an honor. This is the first time anyone's ever been on my show but me, and so thank you. Now send in one of your compatriots. I don't know who's going to be next.
Well,
Sophie, would that be you?
so if you want to come in.
Okay, hang on. Watch out, Gilbert's there. Let me step in. So, okay, you guys. Now here's the thing. I didn't know how this was gonna go. I didn't know, and my own prejudices. I didn't think this was gonna go well, to be honest. That surprised me. I was very surprised. Requiem for a Dream, Train Spotting. These are not the. And again, that's my own prejudices stepping in. So. I think that this has become a much more interesting and compelling conversation than I might have originally thought. And I appreciate you guys staying here, and it's really interesting. I can't wait to bring on a girl who's a little bit younger, but somebody I live with who is a big gamer and loves her comic books. So I'd like to bring her on next. Her name is Sophie Bell. Sophie, join the chat. Have a seat. Put this on. Put this on, sit down. Put those on your side. Put this on. So remember, just look here. Just look there. And first of all, introduce yourself. Explain who you are.
I'm Sophie Bell.
Don't look at me. Look at right there. And how old are you?
I'm 15 and a half.
And where do you go to school?
Marshall.
Marshall what?
Fundamental.
And don't look at me, look at the camera. Look at you. All right, so I know because we live together, yes?
Yes.
Yes, we live together. I mean, we live platonically. I live with your mom, and we're all here together.
Yes.
Now, I happen to know that you're a big fan of comic books. Comic book heroes. You love Deadpool. You've drawn and painted me my Moon Knight that's right here and my Superman thing. So tell me, how did you first get involved in comic books? When did you decide that you liked comic book heroes, and who did your dad give you your first comic books? How did you first find out about comic book characters?
I think when I first really got into it was my mom's ex-boyfriend, Jason.
Oh, great, thanks. That's okay, that's fine. I'm sure Jason was a swell dude with great taste in women. So no, that's really interesting. Gilbert likes to come meet the ladies, So Jason got you into what? What did Jason bring you? How did he get you into it?
Well,
Gilbert?
He gave me a few Fantastic Four comics.
Oh!
And a movie. And they were like the only comics that I actually had. And so I would like read them over and over again, and I just loved like comic books so much more than I did novels. Because I don't know, I feel like the pictures just give it more.
But you do read books.
I do. A lot. I read a lot of books.
You read a lot. So what are some of the favorite books that you've read? I mean, I know you like King Arthur.
Oh, my all-time favorite novel is definitely Phoenix. It's more of a kind of like a space type novel. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
No, it's okay. So what do you think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I know you're a big Deadpool fan. And we went and saw Deadpool 1 together, and I think Deadpool 2. And the second one, what did you think of Deadpool?
I think it was awesome. It was funny. That's what I loved most. It had a lot of funny scenes in it.
Now, what was it? Did you feel that like you were too young? Like some of Deadpool's pretty R-rated. Did you feel like you were like when we took you, you were like 14, maybe even younger? Did you feel you were too young to see Deadpool?
No, I just wanted to see Deadpool.
Now, do you like the fact that we live in a world where like we've gone to see a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and what's it like for you to see characters you saw on the pages of a comic book in a movie? I mean, do you expect that? Is it something that you think is cool?
I think it's awesome because it's like this whole story, on paper just comes to life, and you can watch it with sound and movement, because that's basically what, I don't know.
Well, now you're the biggest gamer I know. Like I learn more about video games from you than anyone. And you're always playing different games. Like you and I, when we first met, you had me playing that mech game. Remember that mecha game?
Yeah.
I love that game. What is it about video games that you like? And do you like movies? Do you like video games? Do you like comics or books? What's your favorite form of entertainment?
I think I'd have to go with video games.
Now, why do you like video games so much?
I don't know. They really like. I don't know.
There's no wrong. I know, I'm putting you on the spot. There's no wrong answers, but you get really into it. The characters of video games, the choices you get to make, you get really immersed in the games that you're playing. Do you think video games are more stimulating than movies?
Yeah, to me, yeah, because you get to control the character, and you get so much more, I guess, from it, because a movie. Okay,
No, go on. This is good. No, this is good. This is philosophy. A movie is what?
I think that movies and games are similar, because except the difference is that movies you watch it like happen, and then games you can actually interact with it.
Right, that's important.
And move around the character yourself and stuff like that.
Now, are you as involved with a character's story in a video game as you are in a movie because you can control that character? Or do you find that you get just as involved with movies? Or in terms of the character and the story, do you think a movie is more involving or a video game is more involving from a story perspective?
I feel like video games, because when you're controlling that character, I guess it just like you get a sense of the way that person is.
Sure, no, of course.
Because you're controlling them. And
do you feel that part of your personality is part of the video game character because the decisions you make, the choices you make that character yours, as opposed to a movie? When you're watching a movie, you don't have any control over what the character's doing? Are video game characters more compelling for that reason?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite video games?
Favorite video games.
There's no wrong answer.
I'd say my number one favorite would be Uncharted 4.
Wow. All right. Now, why is that? Because I love the Uncharted franchise. I've said on the show before, I think it's the closest thing to playing a movie. What do you love about the Uncharted franchise?
I love the adventure in it, and the just the puzzles that they give you every now and then. There's a lot of puzzles, and I like the story of the whole Uncharted series. I just how they all fit together and how the story is like.
That's good. That's good. What are there video games that are coming out? Or what that you've got Avengers Endgame coming out, you've got a new Spider-Man movie coming out in 2019. Are there video games and movies that you're most looking forward to?
I can't think of any games.
That's okay. But what about the Avengers? Come on.
New Avengers movie.
Yeah, are you looking forward to finding out if they're going to reverse the snap, the Thanos snap?
Definitely.
Now, what do you think about, Black Panther was the first comic book movie to win a Best Picture nomination. How did you feel about Black Panther? Did you like it?
I freaking loved it.
Look at them. Don't look at me. What did you love about Black Panther?
Oh, there's so much I loved about Black Panther. I liked the casting a lot.
Right.
The casting was great. I think my favorite character, what was her name?
Shiri or Okoye, the leader of the Dora Milaje.
His sister.
Shiri,
yeah.
They're making a hot toy figure of her. I'll get that figure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, I've given you a few action figures. You're an action figure fan. So as you move forward into your life, you're a sophomore now in school. Now, have you given any thought to what you want to be when you grow up? Like now where you are in your life, there's no wrong answer. But if you could do anything you want now, what would it be? You could grow up and be blank.
I want to be an astronomer.
Really?
Yeah, I want to study the stars.
Why do you want to study the stars?
I guess that stuff has always interested me. There's this whole just universe that, like, there's so many parts that haven't been explored yet and so much that we don't know. And I guess just going out and discovering all of that is thrilling. Just the idea of it is exciting too. And, imagine finding life outside of Earth. And
oh my God.
I don't know, just studying stuff like that is awesome and beautiful. Just everything, like, I don't know.
No, Sophie, that was fantastic. I will take over now. Thank you for coming on the show. I love the fact you're wearing an alien t-shirt. That's fantastic. And thank you for being here. Okay, guys, if you weren't more enthralled about the prospects of the future, I'm enthralled about the prospects of our future. I think today was a very different experience. I didn't know what I was going to do. I frankly was out of my element. I don't think anyone would ever want any of my clothes except my geeky t-shirts, which everybody wants. But so this was kind of an amazing experience. It was a little. I wasn't even going to go live today. I was just like, you know what? There's too much noise here. There's too much stuff going on. They wouldn't let Gilbert in because there was a baby here and lots of new clothes or old clothes that were being passed off as new. So this was actually really interesting. I didn't know how this would go, and I found it interesting, quite illuminating actually. And I think that we underestimate our young people. I've always said we've infantilized children, and we shouldn't. And if nothing else, today was an interesting cross section of our youth, and I found it quite uplifting, to be honest. Really fantastic. And what an interesting thing to do, to have a bunch of teenage girls just in the house that I could ask questions to, because it's not and in front of a camera, which means I'm absolved of any kind of wrongdoing. When someone says your boyfriend accused my daughter of not liking the right movie. I mean, The Graduate? The Graduate? That's part of my G's. I'm like, I thought I would have to like I'd have to drag people kicking and screaming to watch The Graduate. This is very uplifting for me. Very but anyway, so here I am now, and I am now back. I don't think I have any more guests to talk to. I think everyone left, frankly. They were bored to tears by this. So I'm going to go up and do what I do. I'm going to start answering. I don't even know if there were any super chat questions. I have no idea. Oh man. Vegetable Tube sent me a great super chat. Vegetable Tube, a new person who was here the other day, and sent in very generous with your super chats. I didn't ask who are the girls' favorite actors. I'm very sorry. I didn't see your super chat, sir, or madame. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything with the name Vegetable Tube. but I really appreciate your support. I didn't ask them. You know, I was just excited that say hello to my little friend. Come on, Requiem for a Dream. And she says, her? Oh, wait.
Your mic is off.
No, it's not.
People can't hear you. They say they can't hear you.
What do you mean they can't? You guys can hear me, can't you? Yes, I think you can. My mic's not off. Nothing's changed. No, I can see it. I can see it in the lot. Oh, hang on a second. Wow, that's interesting. Just a second here. What has been going on? No. Not performing. It's all good. I'm It's not turned around. The mic is not changed at all. No one's. I'm looking at everything. I don't know. It's quieter than normal. Everyone's like, "Oh, hey." I don't know what's happening. Hang on. Can you hear me? Now I don't know what's going on with the mic today. I'm still looking at the sound. Hold on. Am I too close? Am I too close? I'm not. You guys should be able to hear me. Everything says everyone can hear me. Loud and clear. Some people say they can't hear me, and others say they can. Anyway, a CBS infected mic. I'd like to think no. Oh, the girls are super quiet as if no mic. Uh-oh. Well, it seems louder now. I don't know what to say. I'm just telling you, I'm here now. Can y'all hear me? I think it's all good. Rogers. People seem to say they can hear me. Anyway, let me go back up to what I was doing. What I was doing was going to answer super chat questions, and I want to say, Vegetable Tube, thank you for Vegetable Tube. You have been incredibly supportive of this channel, and I think today was a perfect example of the kind of like improvisation and innovation I want to bring to ROBServations. I didn't expect to do this. I was resolved to not even going on now. But I thought that, having a gaggle of girls from many different generations here in the house, doing things I don't understand, like fashion. This shirt's 20 years old. It's actually 25 years old. It's one of my favorite shirts I own. It's so soft. It's been washed so many times. I love it immensely. So anyway, I want to thank all of the girls that participated in this chat. They displayed enormous courage, and I put them on the spot. And I was very charmed by all of them, and I thought what they had to say was terrific. And I want to thank them all for being here because they bared their souls. I basically stuck them in front of you and made them talk. So good. Let's all give them a round of applause because they were great. And how interesting were their choices and the things that they had done. Fantastic. And I want to thank Sophie. I mean, she sees me every day, and I put her on the spot. And I basically said, perform, monkey, and she did a great job. I mean, she's taught me more about video games and what's coming out and what's exciting, and she shares my passion for comic books and enthusiasm for video games and action figures. So that was great to have her on the show. It was great to have guests on the show. I've never done that before. So let me go down and see what we got here. I don't think we have any other super chats, but I'm going back up to the top and I will answer questions. Let's see what we got. Ben Bamboo says Watchmen was ahead of its time and underrated as such. I was shocked to learn that it was a divisive film. I thought it was brilliant. Here's the thing, Ben Bamboo. Have you read the comic? I think Watchmen was not an adaptation as much as it was a translation, and I think it needed to be more of an adaptation. Watchmen is one of my favorite comic books of all time. I've read it like 30 or 40 times, and I have problems with the film, but that's all right. Clayton George says, never would I have imagined this girl being into The Graduate. What's next, Solaris? Here's the thing, Clayton. I think today proved you can never discount who you're going to meet and what they're going to be interested in. I was fascinated by that. And remember what she said. She said her friend, not her father, got her into The Graduate. And The Graduate's a fantastic film. So what I think the lesson to be taken away from here is you never know when classic movies or classic literature or even classic video games or classic pop culture of any kind will find its way to the next generation. So do not discount anyone. Do not count them out because they will always surprise you. I've always believed that, and I still believe that, and I think that was illustrated today. So that was really fantastic. And by the way, if you have not seen A Graduate, it is part of my list of G films that will be the next ROBServations, probably tomorrow. Clayton George says, again, reach down, pick jaw off the floor, reconnect, smile, Pink Floyd The Wall on acid, superb. What can I say, you know? But she has never seen a film. By the way, the film Pink Floyd The Wall has never been on Blu-ray. I do have the DVD. It's shocking that film, directed by Alan Parker, the film he made after Fame, the fact that it's not out on Blu-ray is an abomination. Sebastian says, I heard Rob saying once that it is easier to watch classics with young girls than young boys. I don't know if that is psychologically true, haha, but maybe he is right. Or not, haha, fun idea this, Rob. Here's the thing. You know why it's easier to, I think, watch classic movies with girls than it is with boys or women than men? Because girls find more to be interested in about classic films. They're looking at everything that I wouldn't even think about. Fashion, design. You know, I'm looking for plot and theme and character. Well, girls are immediately entranced by things that we're not entranced by. And there are intrinsic differences between, I think, men and women. And, you know, just try it. Look, if you don't believe me, just sit down and pick out a favorite classic film and find your favorite female, whether it's your daughter, your sister, your mom, and sit her down and watch a classic film with them. And they will be far more delighted, I think, initially than you will be. And ask them why. You know, put it to the test. Don't just listen to me. Don't just, I mean, everything I say is I'm a believer in science. Test my theories. Please do. And get back to me. I mean, watch two of my favorite classic movies, All About Eve and Sunset Boulevard. Two movies that came out in the same year. They're two of the greatest movies ever made. Watch those and see what people think. Eddie from Space says, special features hype. Yes, fantastic. Idiot Head says, Requiem for a Dream and Train Spotting, you have dark taste. Keep it up. Dark taste, but still there's a lot to be gleaned from those films. I mean, I love both Train Spotting and Requiem for a Dream. I like Train Spotting more. I'll tell you something else. For those of you who don't know, Danny Boyle, who made Train Spotting in 2016, T2, Train Spotting 2 came out, which I think is one of the great sequels of all time. It's right up there with Godfather 2 and Empire Strikes Back and The Road Warrior. And then there is Train Spotting 2. It's fantastic. Jablod says The Graduate is my all-time favorite movie. Well, apparently the next generation is discovering it, so you're not wrong. Fantastic. Clayton George says, okay, I have to reconnect my jaw again. Yay, yay, yay. Look, if nothing else, I think this ROBServations chat has proven that the future is bright. You know, our young people are smart. They are inquisitive. They are learning, and they are experiencing the same way that we did. I mean, I saw Clockwork Orange when I was 13, and we should not find it astonishing that people are discovering classic cinema the same way we did. So how exciting is that? It's fantastic, right? Let's see. Bill Barkley says, does she have the new Resident Evil 2 game? I don't know. they're gone now. You know, they've gone into. Vesna says, finally we meet Sophie. We meet Sophie today. Sophie came on, and by the way, she came on. Good for her. I mean, I coerced her, and she came on, and she was great. It was great to see Sophie live across the planet Earth. Vesna, you're in Bosnia. I mean, you're in the Balkans. You got to meet Sophie, and how cool is that? By the way, her grandfather, as you know, is Serbian. So Yugoslavian, as I would say. He was Yugoslavian. Or he spoke Serbo-Croatian. How cool is that? So you met a kinsman or kinswoman is what happened today. So that's kind of cool. Mike Bodden says, Sophie rocks and is a good artist. She is indeed. Sophie, I have 2 paintings, 2 Sophie originals right here. She painted me Moon Knight. How cool is that? And she's actually becoming quite a good artist, following the footsteps of her mother. There's a lot of art going on with the ladies in this house. I mean, Zoe and her fashion design, and Elizabeth is an incredible fine artist, and Sophie is following in her mom's footsteps. So I'm surrounded by great ladies and their great art, which is fantastic, which is great. Eddie from Space says, Gilbert approves of Jason. Yes. Aaron Johnson, Ryan Reynolds is okay, but there are slightly more family-friendly films that Reynolds is in where he doesn't get in trouble with his superhero stuff. That's true, but are they as fun? I don't know. Sebastian says, I hate when movies or series that are aimed at children are dumbed down or just so simple because they apparently think kids are dumb. You know what? They didn't think kids are dumb when I was a kid. And this is the infantilization of children is a new thing that has the rise of treating children as stupid, and the rise of helicopter parenting has gone hand in hand, and it's terrifying. And you know, back when we were kids, Old Yeller died. Just saying. Spoiler alert. Let's see what do we got here. Thrall Unifiction says Gilbert wants food. Gilbert always wants food, but he's here asleep at my feet, and Gilbert doesn't want food. He just wants pretty girls in his life. You know, he's a dog. What can I say? Dr. Gaster says, wow, so impressed with these ladies. I'm glad you feel that way. So was I. Like, I had no idea where this was going to go. I really didn't know how the show was going to go. It was something I came up with at the last minute. And were you not all impressed by the ladies today? I mean, these fantastic young women who were articulate and thoughtful, and by the way, who had great taste, really great taste in motion pictures. And nobody was as impressed as I was by this chat. So fantastic. Let's see. Mike Bodden says we could actually hear you better when you were standing away from the mic. Well, I hope you can hear me now. Doc John Jabrani says your comms have a board virus. You never know. I mean, it's, you get this stuff to work in a particular space and it changes. Sharpshooter 07 says, I watched The Age of Ultron again today, Rob. Even though I have the same criticisms of the movie, I also appreciated it more. You know what? Age of Ultron, I love Age of Ultron. I actually like it better than Avengers. I like Infinity War more because Infinity War is an orgasmic cornucopia of awesomeness. But I think Age of Ultron is a much better film than it's been given credit for. And it basically is the basis for where the MCU went. So much has been based on that. Clayton George says, how could we respond to what the girls were saying if the mic wasn't working? Logic. I guess it was. That's good. That's fantastic. Mark Hansen says, I had to put my headphones on to hear. Might have just been the girls because even when he's standing back, Rob's voice carries. Thank you. Appreciate that. What? I'm sure the limiter that's built in. Let me just look. Yeah, see. Okay. Let's see. I hate Age of Ultron. Koba says only MCU movie, but I really hate it. Why do you hate it? How the party scene alone at Avengers Tower is great. Anyway, Trinidad the Island Man says, Rob, I'm not a fan of the Age of Ultron. Do you think we will ever see Yokosuka and Machine Man? Wow, that's some deep cuts. Machine Man, actually, what's crazy about Machine Man is Jack Kirby created Machine Man in his 2001 adaptation comic that spun off into Machine Man. Crazy. Ben Bamboo says, are any of them comic artists? I have something I might want to turn into a motion comic for a film release on YouTube in a few years? I don't think so. Nobody No One says the Hulkbuster fight is very entertaining. It is. Vesna from Bosnia says, I loved Age of Ultron. The only MCU movie that I didn't like is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You know what? I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You know why? Because it's about family. It's about dysfunctional families coming back together. I mean, no one has a more dysfunctional family than Star-Lord, or perhaps Gamora and Nebula do, because their dad, Thanos, is really pretty much murdered hundreds of billions, if not billions and billions of people across not just the galaxy, the universe. The scope of what Thanos did is, it's more than what the Dowd did to the Husnock in the third season Star Trek The Next Generation episode, The Survivors. But anyway, Yellow Flash says, do you think Black Panther has too many elements that goes over basic audiences' heads, such as the thing with his dad, Wakandan mythology, vibranium, a heart-shaped herb? No, I don't. I think everybody, look, our audiences today are very, very sophisticated. We get all of those things. We get the illusions that are made, not illusions, but allusions with an A. We understand what those things are nowadays. We get it. Audiences are very sophisticated. They understand. And that's why I think people love Black Panther as much as they did, because it has as much superhero action as it does spirituality. And it's a great film. That's why it was nominated for Best Picture. Juko from Finland's here. Idea for a chat idea. 80s American police crime series. Magnum P.I. Hunter, Fred Dreyer as Hunter, and Stephanie Kramer as Dee Dee McCall. T.J. Hooker, Sledgehammer Possible. And you know what? That's not a bad idea, but I'll tell you something. I know the man who created Sledgehammer, Alan Spencer, and I think I would rather have Alan Spencer come on this show and be a part of ROBSERVATIONS. That's a great idea. I know he will. He'll do it. Vessel says, I didn't like that Ego's heart, the heart of a planet, is a human brain. I can see that. I understand, but it wasn't human. He's more of a celestial. Koba says it felt very rushed. It had the odd, great scene, but mostly it felt like a set of future movies like Ragnarok and Civil War. Oh, come on. Ragnarok was rad. Civil War is rad, But they're all part of the same thing. Clayton George says Black Panther did good by Wakanda, but I still want to see an excellently done Doctor Doom film. Latveria Forever. Yes, I love Doctor Doom. I'm with you. Let's see. Bunyan Snipe. Bunyan Snipe is here. Bunyan Snipe became a Patreon subscriber, and he's been sending me messages on Patreon, which is fun. And thanks for being here, Bunyan. Any thoughts on Mark Zakri's new project, Space Command? So Mark Zakri is a guy that, if you don't know Mark Zakri, I became aware of him in the early 80s when he wrote the Twilight Zone Companion, which I've gone through 3 copies. The pages were falling out because I love the Twilight Zone so much. He crowdfunded a film a number of years ago called Space Command. He finally, look, Mark Zakri has written for many animated shows and many science fiction shows you're fans of. Mark Zakri crowdfunded the show. He was criticized because it took him so long. But he did release the first hour. Comic-Con, he showed the first half hour. He recently released the first hour on the internet of his produced. He produced it. He made it happen himself. His Space Command show. It was great, that he got it done. So fantastic for Mark Zakri. People have asked if I would be on his show or he'd be on my show. I would love to talk to Mark Zakri about the Twilight Zone. Because no one is a better authority of the Twilight Zone than him, and he shaped my young life reading his book. Okay, you know what, Dirty Sanchez, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're gone. Sorry. I don't need to know that your balls itch. Just don't know. Crixus Maximus said, you sounded like Gorshin's Riddler when you said Rob's voice carries. That's, of course, the great Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler, who was also in Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys, and who was on a 3rd season episode of Star Trek called Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. Here's a trivia question. Did Frank Gorshin have black on the right side or the left side of his face? You answer. Farky50, by the way, a regular here, part of the Post-Geek Singularity community. Farky, how you doing? Hey, Rob, finally caught you live again. What are you watching lately as far as TV shows? Well, we were just watching the Netflix documentary about Ted Bundy, the Ted Bundy tapes. and I'm still hate watching Manifest. And I gotta say, just when I'm like Michael Corleone, The Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Apparently, some hiker was lost in the woods, and he time traveled by a year, which they've completely, because they really had no plan on that show, like Lost. They're just going to make it up as they go and never answer any of our questions. So I'm in. I'm hate watching Manifest. They've got me for episode 13, so good for them. Clayton George says Frank Gorshin was black on the right side thanks to the Dana Gould Hour podcast to refreshing my visual memory. That's good. That's what I like. I like having that going on. Yellow Flash says, do you wish they showed Thanos decimating Xandar for the Power Stone? Yes, because I wish Infinity War was 4 hours long. I really do, because I could have watched it. But you know what? I love that they kind of didn't show it to us, because maybe we'll see it in Endgame. I mean, they can roll back around. Trinidad the Island Man says, not sure about which side, but he was a good villain on Charlie's Angels. Did you catch any of the Punisher Season 2? I have not yet. I have not. Punisher Season 2 is up. It's on deck, as they say in baseball. Idiot Head says, I want to support the $15 Patreon, but I want to know if the Rip with Rob episodes will only be live or recorded for those that cannot participate. No. Okay, here's the thing. Okay. Idiot Head has a very good question. So, I did my Rip with Rob episode, and on my Patreon, Rip with Rob episodes will be live. If you are going to become a Patreon subscriber for $15 or more, I'm going to do. My girlfriend is not happy. Elizabeth is not happy about this. But by the way, I mean, I don't know. It was around here somewhere. So everyone knows I love my alcoholic beverages. Not as an alcoholic, even though people have accused me of such. The Axonar haters, when they hated me, sure, every picture I picked up of a glass with alcohol in it, they would scream and yell. But so here's the thing. Ripped with Rob is only fun if I'm doing it live and I can interact with you guys as I get more and more drunk. Because and watching a middle-aged, some people say, watching a middle-aged man get drunk. But, however, if we have a topic to discuss and I get looser and looser based on how much I imbibe, the first Ripped with Rob, for those of you who don't, last summer, I had this idea one afternoon because I was bored. I said I was going to do drunk commentaries for James Bond movies. For the James. I love the entire Bond franchise. So I went online and I said, okay, like 2:00 Sunday afternoon, like today, let's start watching Moonraker. And then I will go on and I'll do live videos where I stood in front of my screen and I filmed myself doing Moonraker commentary as the movie played behind my face. And I started up pretty sober. And I just drank and drank. I was like, I mean, I could barely articulate a word. But people loved it. So I thought, Rip with Rob, like do this funny thing where problem is, it's detrimental to your health. It's not good. So I figured we would do so it's a tier. So it's a $15 tier on my Patreon. I will only ever do Rip with Rob live. I did it once publicly. I will never do it publicly again. It is only for my Patreon subscribers, and you will get it's gonna be twice a month, and you will get a probably a week in advance. And I'm going to do a Rip with Rob session. And it'll be fun. And for you Patreon subscribers, I'm going to put up, unfortunately, you can't watch Moonraker with me, and there's no real way. I mean, maybe I could figure out a way to figure out the actual minutes, so I could put up the whole piece as a 2-hour piece, and there'd be long stretches of no video. Actually, that's actually kind of interesting. So it'd be like a choose your own adventure. I'm like, okay, this is interesting now that I think about it. I will make, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up my Rip with Rob Moonraker commentary. I'm going to set it up so you're going to watch the film, and I will find out the exact moments. So you put it on. So the actual video is going to be 2 hours, but it'll have long stretches of blackness in it. Dark, black just there will be no video at all. And then when I get to the moment, I'll stretch it out, and I'll actually, that's the way to do it. So if you guys join my Patreon at the $15 level, you will get my Moonraker commentary, now that I'm thinking about it, as like a 2-hour thing. So you can start, I will have a moment where you can actually start and hit play, and then you can watch it, and then I will show up, interstitially with the movie. I'll do that because I'll set up the actual, I'll digitize the audio, and I'll line it up to make it perfect. That's the kind of entertainment I'm bringing to you guys. So thanks for the support. Now, Bunyan Snipe says, "My God, here's what happens at the end." He says, "Attempting reentry." That's a reference to the end of the movie. "My God, what's Bond doing?" "I think he's attempting reentry, sir." Anyway, so, have you read the comic Assimilation? Koba asks. When Star Trek and Doctor Who crossover. I have not. I really love what IDW has done with the Star Trek franchise. It's fantastic, but I have not read the Doctor Who, nor the Legion of Superheroes, nor the Planet of the Apes crossover that the Tiptons wrote, but I will get to it. Mike Bottom says, that Moonraker idea sounds like playing Dark Side of the Moon while watching Wizard of Oz. No, it will be. It'll be, I'll make it totally exact. I'll figure out the exact thing. So if you guys want to subscribe, I will make it Patreon only, because I want to make my Patreon page is going to be full of weird. If you've watched, there's been one episode of ROBServations, the official ROBServations, that took me months to make, and there's only been one episode. I have a second episode I shot with Diane Duane, one of my favorite Star Trek writers. I interviewed her via Skype in Ireland at a pub, so I'm gonna get. I will release that. But my Patreon page is going to be full of really interesting stuff. I recently just dropped for all Patreon subscribers a quick minute-long video with Greg Smith, who built the full-size land speeder, the 1-to-1 scale land speeder. He's building a 1-to-1 scale probe droid for the Emerald City Comic Con that is happening in March. He's building it now, and he's going to send me progress videos. He sent me one that's up there for my Patreon subscribers, and that's for all levels. $2, $1, whatever. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you will get to see that. And that brings me, by the way, guys, to the end of this chat, because I'm tired, and I would like to drink more whiskey. I've been talking this whole time, but as people know, as everyone knows, I've started doing these daily. If you're here for these chats and you support me in any way, whether you're on a Patreon, whether you're a Patreon subscriber, whether you send me a super chat, whether you just sign up at our newsletter feed that's going to be on our website at the Burnettwork, which is one word, theburnettwork.net, everybody gets entered into a chat for a month. Every month it goes back to 0, but for a month, everybody gets entered into a drawing. If you support the channel, you get in for prizes. It's a random drawing for anybody who donates, just because I thought it would be fun. And yesterday, somebody won the 3-issue prestige format Neil Gaiman Black Orchid series from DC in mint condition. So today the drawing is for Batman and the Outsiders, which is, I believe, a 32-issue series from the mid-'80s. And what I do is I put all of your names in, anybody who sends a super chat, into this program it's a mini web tool. It's a mini web tool, and I hit a button. Everyone's name is in it. Everyone's ever donated to me, donated to the channel, is put in this, and every month it goes back to 0, but your names still all go in. All the patrons are always in, but then the subscribers and every other donor starts again. So I have to go up here, and all the names are typed in. And hang on, this is for, by the way, this is for Batman and the Outsiders, the entire run, the original run. Hang on. Vegetable Tube. Vegetable Tube, you, my friend. The last 2 days you have given me some great super chats. Thank you for that. But by the way, wow, you just won The entire run, I had to move it. It was right here. But you have just won the entire run of Batman and the Outsiders. I mean, one of the most bonkers runs of Batman. It was kind of like the '60s, but it was drawn. I mean, the nuclear family, some crazy Batman action. So you won that vegetable tube. So, thank you very much for your support. You know what? I was kind of, to be honest, I was hoping that you would win. You would win. That was kind of cool. But thank you very much for that. So I will ship that out to you, and I will ship out the Raiders of the Lost Ark comics and the Neil Gaiman Black Orchid. So today it's not. It's I can't grab it, but today's anybody who becomes a Patreon subscriber, Booster Gold. If you don't know Booster Gold, if you don't know Blue and Gold, you don't know the Booster Gold Blue Beetle friendship of the '80s. The entire run, the original run, of Booster Gold is up for grabs. So anybody who becomes a Patreon subscriber today, or actually Vegetable Tube, send in a super chat. You are entered into that drawing. That'll be for the next drawing, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to teach a class via the internet, so I probably won't be on until later. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I hope this is fun. I hope what we did today was fun. I know it was offbeat. It's not going to be something you see all the time. It was something that was different and new, but I thought fascinating. I was fascinated by it. I will go back to my regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. And yeah, you'll see me on the John Campea Show at 9 a.m. And I want to thank you guys for all being here. And, let me just say, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have you all, members of Post Geek Singularity community, being here and being part of these chats. It's so much fun to have you guys here. I really love doing this. And please comment and subscribe and hit the little button so you know, or hit the little bell so you know when I go live. And I want to thank all the girls today that came on the show, that they showed a lot of courage, and they didn't know what I was going to ask them, but they all came on, and I think that they were all tremendous. So let's all give them a round of applause. And if you like that, or if you want to see more of that, I'd love to do more of that and do more deep dives. And I think that was great. So anyway, all of you, as always, remember, everybody you meet has a story to tell that you haven't heard. All you have to do is listen. So thanks for being here today, and I'll see you tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. Find me tomorrow on John Campea's show. Follow me on Twitter at BurnettRM. Follow me on Instagram at RMBurnett. Please visit my website at theburnettwork.net, one word, or follow me on TBurnettWork on Twitter. You can find me everywhere. Subscribe, like, do all those things. Tell your friends. Better yet, just keep coming back and enjoying these chats, because I wouldn't do it without you. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you guys being here. And thanks to all the people that participated today.